or at least not walk the picket line. Maybe you don't walk in. It's going to depend on the circumstances. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 Right.
Okay, my last question is tobacco. You mentioned a minute ago something about sitting in the hall. We were always told that the students could not be in the hall because they were not being supervised, and under the free and appropriate education, that would not be free and appropriate education. Is that true?
Yeah. For short periods of time, it's not a problem. But I mean, if you're sticking them out there for extended periods of time, when I say sticking them out in the hallway, I'd want to put them someplace where, I'm able to keep an eye on them. But typically, if you're going to give them a timeout, maybe you got a place in your room that you could do that. It'd be a better approach. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, and this tricky question was at number 54.
Yes.
Teachers should report cases of PK-12 abuse. Okay, because I always have a person come talk to my class about abuse, so I wanted to know what you meant by that.
Okay, number 54. It's a trick question because it's true and true. Okay, the true part of it is that you're going to go ahead and make it's true and false. The true part of it is that you as a mandated reporter are obligated to make the call to DCFS. You got to make the call. So there have been cases, John White case out of Urbana. If you've been following that at all, this guy's doing 60 years hard time for molesting kids in Normal and in Urbana. Administrators got themselves in trouble in Urbana, and teachers got themselves in trouble as a result of this mandated reporter law. And what happened was there were some teachers that thought there were some funny things going on in this guy's class. They went to an administrator and said, I think there's some funny stuff going on in this classroom, with the understanding that administrator was then going to call DCFS. Administrator never called DCFS. The responsibility to call rests with the mandated reporter. All of you are mandated reporters if you're a teacher. So the trick part of this is you call, but at the same time, I can guarantee you don't want to call DCFS without having talked to your principal first. You'd want to go talk to your principal and say, look, I've got these suspicions about what's going on here. I think there's some kind of abuse going on in the home. The kid's coming in every day with welts all over him, and I've talked to him about it, and he said, yeah, Dad is doing this or that. And I just want you to know I think we need to call DCFS. And so, but the point I would make to you is that, so you're covered, you ought to call, and your principal ought to call as well. I mean, it just takes that long. Now, if you have any questions about, well, I won't click back to it, but I've had a link on there someplace to DCFS has got a new training, online training service where it will help walk you through what your responsibilities are with respect to mandated reporter. You've got to have reasonable grounds, some kind of reasonable grounds to make a call. And they explain to you exactly what that means and what that doesn't mean. For example, I remember I just took it here a couple months ago. One of them was, kid comes into your room with a bruise on his arm. You say, hey, Billy, how'd you get that bruise on your arm? Well, I fell off my bike. Well, now do you need to call DCFS? They said, well, if you inquired more and say, oh, you know the kid and this is just a one-time thing, they wouldn't expect you to maybe make that call on that particular issue. But then they give you some other scenarios where it's like, yeah, you better be making some calls. So if you get a question about that or a concern about should I call or shouldn't I call, you might want to go to that site, or then, once again, you'd want to talk to somebody in your building. Okay? All right. I think we ran a little bit over, but I've really enjoyed this time with you. There's so much more we could talk about. If you have any questions in the future, if you get yourself in a situation, I'll be here, so you can call and we'll see if we can't get you some help down the road. Congratulations on your career choice. I wish you all the very best. Good luck to you.